part of this topic is also proactive techniques, right? Like if you know, like there's certain constraints that you're dealing with, what can you proactively put in place that changes the perspective so you start thinking about things and doing things differently? Because we don't think about it normally because we're one-dimensional usually. How can I really use this concept and apply it to my business? So we all have constraints. Alex Ramosi, when I was at his scaling workshop, he always says, look, businesses stop growing because of constraint. So what is the constraint? And fix the constraint. And now taking Edward's thought process of lateral thinking, combining those together because we know there's constraints, and then figuring out other solutions that actually you wouldn't normally think about because you're only thinking this way. Now you're kind of not one-dimensional, you're multi-dimensional, if that makes sense.
Makes sense. All right. Hey guys, this is Vinny Chopra, Vinney and Beau show. We come to you on Fridays, 9 a.m. Pacific. I hope you like the content. And please let us know if you would like to dig into, or if you are a great guest, you could really impart some great knowledge, how to grow your business through AI and everything. Actually, I met a company, actually, they interviewed me yesterday. Well, about AI applications. It's just amazing what's happening. But today we're going to talk about a different topic. You want to cover that?
Yeah, so yesterday I was on a webinar and this gentleman brought up the idea, and
Uh-huh.
it's a concept called lateral thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy, I think in the 70s, his name was Edward de Bono, uh,
Uh-huh.
and he thought of this, and it's really not like rocket science, but it's like a lot of times when there's a constraint in your business, right?
Mm-hmm.
The reason we don't grow if we're trying to grow is because there's some sort of constraint. And
Yes.
so his perspective is challenging established patterns. So a lot of times we only think one way. We're only thinking to solve a problem one dimensionally.
Yep.
To also generate multiple solutions,
Yep.
and proactive techniques, and then focus on concept shifting and cultivating flexibility and creativity. So those are kind of what Edward had created with lateral thinking. Because a lot of times something, I know with me, a problem comes and I'm like, it stresses me out, and then I only
Mm-hmm.
think one way, where the actual
Mm-hmm.
solution is not that complicated. So he actually talks about systematically being able to think laterally and be proactive, so you don't have these simple constraints in your business. And I kind of want to take that and see it like, how can I really use this concept and apply it to my business? So we all have constraints. Alex Ramosi, when I was at his scaling workshop, he always
Yeah.
says, look, businesses stop growing because of constraint. So what is the constraint? And fix the constraint. And now
Mm-hmm.
taking Edward's thought process of lateral thinking, combining those together because we know there's constraints, and then figuring out other solutions that actually you wouldn't normally think about because you're only thinking this way. Now you're kind of not one-dimensional, you're multi-dimensional, if that makes sense.
Makes sense. You know, other thing I was also reading and listening to, Bo, was if we drill a hole in the same hole, it gets deeper and deeper. So if you're the same mindset and you say, you know, you're looking at your business or the challenges in the same style of thinking, and your whole team is thinking the same way, what you have been doing all the time, it just gets you deeper and deeper. If you start a hole as if you're coming from outside the box and you just take a new perspective, you say, you know what, let's just forget that we have a company and we want to build something which we are trying to do. This is now our company is a competitor of ours. Let's just say that. Now, what will be new idea? If we were to approach the challenges which our company is facing in a brand new company, what would that be? So it's interesting, you know. I mean, the big thing I was thinking about that is you got to have your team into the fold. You cannot, as a solopreneur or entrepreneur who is very small team, to be just relying on your thinking and your powers to dig you out of the hole. You've got to get other people. Board of advisors is another one. You know, have some people who you really trust and in your circle who really would love to listen to and get a outside perspective. Disruptive is another word, you know. we should be disrupting our own thinking again and again to really get better.
So a constraint I have
Uh-huh.
is that I want to create more content. Okay. And
Mm-hmm.
so to create
Mm-hmm.
more content, I need a little bit more time. I need the time block. I need the storyboard, and then I have to do a video with me on the screen. So
Yep.
thinking outside the box is like, well, what can I do in addition to what I'm doing already without me actually having to be on screen? So
Yep.
the other day I go, okay, my constraint is like I'm running a little bit thin because I am doing too much. People want to talk to me all day, and I'm answering people's questions and I'm trying to help them do their deals. So I'm like, okay, I need to systematize. So when I can't do things, I need a VA to actually be able to create content for me. So
Uh-huh.
yesterday, the Vice President Kamala Harris has proposed that she does a new tax incentive for people starting businesses. Like
Mm-hmm.
essentially,
Yep.
if this proposal was in, right, Vinny, and you started this
Uh-huh.
assisted living facility, you could get this
Yep.
$50,000, which is a great. That should spur about
It's
25 million businesses in the U.S., right, and
it's
that will stimulate the economy. It's actually a really good proposal. I don't know all the
mm-hmm.
details yet, but so anyways, I'm
Yep.
like, all right, well, how do I create content around it? So I took some information online. I went into ChatGPT and how to create content. I go, okay, well, I don't want to read this because I'm not good at reading scripts. I can talk about it, but I'm like, let me try something. So I found an app that I can do a voiceover, upload a 30-minute clip, and then it will create a video, not of me, but of like B-roll and different things, and it will
Yes.
be me talking, but it's really not me talking. So it'll be reading the script, and now I just
Yeah.
created a new YouTube show without me, and it would total time would be maybe 3 minutes of my time or 5 minutes of my time, right? As opposed to creating something that would normally take you 2 or 3 hours if you scripted and like you didn't have all these tools, right? Now, so how hard is it for me to carve out 10 minutes to get a nice 20-minute piece on some trending topics that are in my niche?
Love it. I
So like
love it,
that's
brother.
just like thinking outside the box and thinking
Yeah.
like multiple levels. And so like anything we do, and so especially if there's like a problem with something in a deal that you're doing. Okay, like sometimes we only
Mm-hmm.
think one dimensional. We get stuck, but
Yeah.
there are solutions if you can start like looking at the glass with the water in it
Have
and
full.
looking
Yeah.
right. Yeah. And so that's what
Yep.
the kind of the premise is. And then and then if you're having these constraints in your business, part of this topic is also proactive techniques, right? Like, so like if like there's certain constraints that you're dealing with, what can you proactively put in place that changes the perspective so you start thinking about things and doing things differently? Because we don't think about it normally because we're one
Mhm.
dimensional usually. So
Yep.
this is
We
interesting to even think about. It's even
No,
the
this is
yeah.
so exciting what you're saying because I know you and I looked at it. The 11th labs maybe comes to my mind, synthesis or something dot AI, and in video or something comes to my mind. Which software have you looked at? Certain softwares because I have put together a whole how really to buy your first residential assisted living, what I'm going through right now, like a course. And it's beautiful PowerPoints and everything and all that. And I'm just trying to see, is there a service where it could be voiceover
This is
and make
it
it into a video, brother?
in video.
In video. Okay, this is it.
So you
Yeah,
upload it. I'm actually gonna sign up for it today. It's like depending on
me
how
too.
much usage,
I'll do
it's
it
20
too.
bucks a
Yeah,
month. So it's pretty.
it's worth
So
it.
yeah, but I mean, some of the videos I would want you on screen, but some of the other stuff, like you don't have to be the one talking the whole time if it's good B-roll that
Yep,
they put in.
yep.
Um, the other thing we did yesterday was we created tons of content, and I tried a strategy I learned from a lady that does social media. She does social media really well. She's 19 years old. Follow her on
Oh,
Instagram. In a
yes.
minute, this is the prompt you copy and paste and put in ChatGPT. In a minute, I'm going to have you write some copy for my business. This will include Instagram posts, sales emails, and more. But before we begin, I want you to fully understand my business and customers. And then you ask ChatGPT, ask me at least 20 questions about my business, customers, audience, and anything else you need in order to complete the task the best of your abilities. ChatGPT will then ask you 20 questions that are relevant. You answer them. Now ChatGPT is prompted and understands your customers, your avatars, and your sales literature. And then you say, okay, create me 10 YouTube scripts, create me 10 social media posts with YouTubes, create me this. And it does a 10 times better job because you've put the inputs in.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
like, I don't even we haven't even scratched the surface of what's going to happen. Like, it's going to get scary because so now influencers, right? Like, so if I'm a big influencer, there's a company out there that can instead of like the influencer, so you want to hire the influencer to do like a promo for your business, right? Like these big, and instead of you actually having to get them to shoot a video, there's now a software that does it would make their testimonial and it's them talking, but it's not them. Like it's like a deep fake, essentially. So the technology is so good you wouldn't know it wasn't that influencer talking. So now these people that are influencers are once they license it, they don't even have anything to do with it. They get paid for using their face. So all this stuff is happening. And
Should have put this on too, man.
yeah, and quite honestly, you need to make one. You should make one for your business.
Yeah, I
See, mine
will.
says
I
Emerge
will.
Lending.
I'll do it. I'll do it. I just saw that. Tell me the company's name. This looks pretty good hat.
Yeah,
I'd love to
yeah. So
get it.
this is I like this hat. It's like a trucker style. You can pick any hat you want. You can go to the company I've worked with so far, and I'm pretty happy with the results. It's called logoup.com.
Logo up.
Logoup.com. You can get
Okay.
hats made. Like I always like, not that a million people recognize the brand, but I think it does. If
Yeah.
you're out, and I do a lot of podcasts, so I always got represent my stuff. It's you should be proud of the things you built. Like I have a
Exactly.
lot of different summits I do now. The Business Ownership Summit. I
Yes.
create logos and branding packages for all that stuff because it's over time it gets imprinted in people's minds.
Haha.
So, and it's pretty inexpensive to do. So I enjoy it. So basically going back to it all. So, but at the end of the day, I think the topic today was change your perspective. There's multiple solutions. Look for the constraints in your business. Study Edward de Bono's lateral thinking because everybody's got a different, unique perspective.
Again, we could really grow if we take good perspective of the challenges, and what you just gave really great nuggets about asking ChatGPT. If you're not using ChatGPT or Perplexity or other these AI tools, you're missing the boat. I would highly recommend that we really give good prompts. And a lot of people tell me, Vinny, I'm not good in giving good prompts. You know what? There's no bad prompt. I mean, you could just explain to ChatGPT. It can go over. Somebody told me, or maybe it's right or wrong, 400 million different books and repertoire is into ChatGPT now. It's so current. How would you like to get the latest information on your fingertips in seconds? In seconds, and that's what it does. So I'm just mesmerized with the quality of what's happening, Bo, and all we are doing this to is to save expenses and invest more in focused deals and all these, and save time and money. I mean, those are the two things that we want to do, right? Save time and money and be available to do a lot more better things for our business and for our family. Hey, enjoyed the show, bro. Thanks for your nuggets, and we'll see you next Friday. Again, like, comment, and share this episode with other people also. Any last comments, Bo, brother?
No, just get out there and play around with the different systems that are out there. Learn, and always keep growing. Right? That's what Vinny and I do, and we talk about what we're trying out, and it takes a little bit of finesse to learn, but there's a lot. Once you start implementing these things, I've noticed my momentum just crazy since the beginning of the year where I got to. I thought in the beginning I was like, it didn't feel like I was growing as fast, but now the hard work has it's been like this giant snowball. So I encourage you all to keep doing it.
Love it. Love it. Hey, smile always. just like it says, but I'm going to get Monil hat also. That's going to be very beautiful and so forth. Thank you, Beau. And we'll see you next week.
See you guys.